indicating Raúl Castro could set up U.S. military section in Cuba. The federal government moves to indicate former Cuban President Raúl Castro will trump up pressures for regime change in Cuba and could be a prelude to a USA military operation just as the Trump administration sent troops into Venezuela in January to capture indicated Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro. But some legal experts say that while an indictment could signal the Trump administration plan to take Castro by force, it would be legally questionable just as the Venezuela operation was, and by blocking the effort to seek charge against Castro for allegedly ordering humanitarian plans to be shot down in international airspace in 1996. US officials haven't helped ensure a potential military operation is unexpected and covered. If I were the Cuban government, I would be very concerned given everything Trump's been saying. That was a fake leaf or to cover an upcoming invasion. Michael, if not, a former federal prosecutor told USA Today, I do think that they will indicate Raúl Castro and then sentence him or else use that as a way to compel regime change there. Jeff Aaron Beck, a former state attorney for federal Palm-based countryside. President Donald Trump has been speaking for months about a takeover of the long-time communist country. The Trump administration's recent military strikes against Venezuela and Iran have highlighted beliefs that the president might actually use force against the Caribbean island nation. Florida's Republican Governor Ron DeSantis, a Trump ally, said he wanted the United States to help bring regime change, almost in the same breath as he precised the potential indictment during public remark May 15. He should be indicated and he should be held accountable, and the Cuban regime is outdated as well, DeSantis said. The White House referred USA Today to the Department of Justice for questions about a potential indictment and what could come next. The Dows did not respond to a request for comment. Cuba's embassy in Washington, D.C. also did not respond to a request for comment. What would the charges be? The sought-after charges reportedly date back to a 1996 indictment in which Castro allegedly deadly Cuban fighter jet flight to shoot down two civilian planes that were working under a humanitarian group brother to the resorts. 4 members of the group were killed, including their USA citizens and one man who was a USA resident from Cuba. Cuba military of Foreign Affairs said in 1996 that the two planes which take off from Florida violated airspace over Cuban territorial where But the United Nations International Civil Actions Organization determined the plant were in international airspace and the attack was legal. 10 years later, a nephew hurled a Spanish language newspaper in Florida obtained audio that purported to show Raúl Castro describing to Cuban reporters who he planned with military officers to shut down the plant according to the main Mammy Hardet, which is owned by Il Nevu, Halid publisher. Why Maduro captures heightens appearances. Maduro is captured in January heightened sufficiency that the Trump administration could be planted a similar operation in Cuba because it provided a potential blueprint and may it itself have been meant to weaken the Cuban regime. Maduro is socialist dictator was closely ally of the Cuban government. After his capture, Venezuela stopped sending Cuba oil. Cuba's energy ministry vacant de la Levy said on state media May 13 that the country's supply of fuel oil was new run out according to widespread reports. When Maduro was gone, it was only a matter of time until their energy supply dried up. Armbeck said. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who reportedly persuaded Trump to abandon negotiations after offered with Maduro, has been debating the Trump won regime change in Cuba for decades. And indictment against Castro would in the areas of some provide a cover for the United States and Trump to seize Castro. When Trump announced the capture of Maduro in January, he described a long U.S. criminal charge against Maduro that had been pending for years, accusing him of conspiring to transport thousands of tons of counterfeits into the United States. Following the Maduro, a captured Republican member of Congress praised Trump in a letter for capturing him and urged Trump to consider including Raúl Castro for the 1996 killing. The model of Maduro lends a large for here. David Adams said, Maduro capture is not the first time the USA government has pointed to criminal charge as a part of the basis for going into a country and seizing one of its leaders. The USA government said Manuel Noriega, the former ruler of Panama in 1919, to face charges of duty traffic and money laundering. Whether those models offer a window into the Trump administration while actually to war are just a point of lovers and wang. Negotiation for policy change in Cuba is always issue, according to if not trying to determine the actual motivation of Donald Trump is a false unit, he said. Legal questions about Castro. Some legal advocates would likely challenge such military action in Cuba under both international law and the U.S. Constitution. The United Nations character which the U.S. sentence refined in 89 to a vote in 1945 early authorized using military force without in the UN Security Council formation in self-defense if an attempt attack occurs. In addition, the US Constitution gives Congress, not the President, the power of declare war, and some legal experts would like to say military action in Cuba is an act for war, especially if it is a part of Reagan's change effort. But it is unclear if any of those objections would present a case against Castro from going forward in court. There always been a tension in U.S. law about if the U.S. gets hold of somebody in a legal manner. Does the court have the ability to basically throw them back into the sea like a fish, or is that some things beyond the power of the court, if not said? Maduro is acknowledged in court that the manners of the capture, which he says was legal, should block the U.S. government from prosecuting him. Even said Castro could argue that any charge should be thrown out because the U.S. government engaged in unconstitutional outrageous conduct by seizing him under false pretense. Ostensibly about in 1996 planned included but rarely about proposing for Reagan change in Cuba. However, Castro potential legal defense would also be weaker than Maduro is. Maduro in a latest on respect, according to Aronberg, Maduro is able to argue that he is human from charge because he owes Venezuela head of state. Prosecutors must dispute that, saying he sold office after losing in Venezuela election and show wealth in a long-time leader. Castro, by contrast, has been out of office in Cuba for several years, even if he remains the portrait of politically powerful family. His defense lawyer would have a tough time getting him released because he has less of legal claim to immunity. Arenberg said so he is in a more precarious position than Maduro.